morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Odd Vlog. And in true Adam the Woo style, we are starting with a piping hot caffeinated beverage, which is probably going to be too hot. Well, it is really hot. Anyway, yesterday we talked about Disneyland Paris and the whole sort of paid fast pass thing. Oh, I remembered to turn on my lightsaber this time, which I forgot to do in the last video. But anyway, we talked about Disneyland Paris and their paid fast pass idea that they're going to be bringing out, and how much I hate it. And I think it's a stupid idea. And if people pay for it, then that's up to them. But I certainly won't. So while we're on the subject of Disney parks and money, thought it'd be a good time to bring up the whole Galactic Star Cruiser thing. So for those that don't know, there's going to be a Star Wars hotel in Walt Disney World, which is all connected with Galaxy's Edge and Batuu and all that kind of thing. And the idea is that you can stay in this Star Wars themed hotel, and it's a bit like going on a cruise, is how they kind of present it. So the idea is that you check in what is, I suppose, a starport. You get in a lift, which I think works a bit like a simulator, in that it supposedly takes you up to this Star Cruiser or space station or whatever you want to call it, and then that's where you stay. And during your stay, you will get a shuttle that takes you to and from Batuu, the planet of Galaxy's Edge, so you can do your shopping and your dining and all that kind of thing, and then back to your Star Cruiser where you stay. The whole thing is entirely immersive, and there's no, so far as we know, I mean, obviously it's still being built at the moment, there's no like open windows. Every window is actually like a TV screen showing you a view of space. The frequently asked questions on the website is fantastic, because there is a question: do guests actually get to go into space? And the answer obviously is no, it's all simulated, and done with screens and all the rest of it. But a brilliant idea. I love the concept of it. I love how it ties in with Galaxy's Edge and Batuu, and Disney World is definitely the perfect place for it, as opposed to California, which just doesn't have that kind of space. I love the idea. I think it's brilliant, entirely immersive, and it's just throwing you into that world. And I think not just Disney fans or Disney Parks fans, but Star Wars fans are just going to love that, being able to actually be thrown into it and be a part of the story, be a character, and create your own actual Star Wars story and be involved in it. And looking at the itinerary that's been released, it's a sample itinerary, so I don't know how accurate it is in terms of this is exactly what you'll be doing if you stay there. But basically it's a 2-night stay, no more, no less. It's always 2 nights. And when you look at the itinerary, it's not really 2 nights worth of stuff. It's basically 1 full day. You check in at the afternoon of day 1. So all you really get is the afternoon and evening. Then you get a full day, and then the following day you have to check out by like 8:30, 9 in the morning. So you only really get probably a day and a half, realistically. But obviously it's still 2 nights, so a 2-night stay in this thing. But the itinerary is really strange, because if that is what it will look like, it's incredibly rigid. Like seriously, like you've got to do this at this particular time, and you've got to do this at this particular time, and you only get to go to Galaxy's Edge for about 4 hours, something like that. Which, considering like that's the main draw for going, more than the hotel, in my opinion, that's really not a lot of time to actually go and enjoy it. You do get to go on the 2 rides that are there, so Smuggler's Run, and the other one, which, while the camera's on me, I now can't remember what it's called, but the Rise of the Resistance, there you go. So you do get to go on those rides. There is an allotted time to be able to do that, which is fine. Obviously, it saves you having to worry about the whole boarding pass thing. How long is that going to go on for, by the way? Are they actually going to keep doing that? I genuinely worry that people will go to Disney World for a once in a lifetime trip. I want to go to Disney World. I want to see Galaxy's Edge, but you've just got this nagging feeling that you will spend all this money and all this time and effort that goes into going there, and you won't get to go on the ride because you can't get a boarding pass. I think it's a stupid system that they've got there, and why it is that they can't have an actual queue for it, I don't know, given that every other ride in the entire vicinity of Disney World and every other park in the world you can just queue up. Why can't you do that with Rise of the Resistance? Anyway, so you do get those rides included as part of your visit, your very short visit to Batuu. But there's certain things on that itinerary which really bug me. I mean, it's like, first of all, it's the structure of it. Like, you have to be at a certain place at a certain time to do a certain thing, and it's like 30 minutes at each thing, and then you're straight onto the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And Pete Werner described it as mandatory fun. He compared it to being like in rehab, and it's like, at this time you've got to do this, and at this time you've got to do that. And yeah, they're fun experiences, but they're sort of forced upon you, and you don't get the impression from the itinerary that actually you have a choice. It's like, you've got to do this. Whether that, or because the only alternative is you just sit in your room all the time with nothing to do. So just doesn't look great. And then the stuff that's on the itinerary to me doesn't look that great. I mean, build a model of the spaceship. Well, I can do that at home. Lightsaber training. Well, whatever kind of lightsaber training it is, it won't be anywhere near as good as full-on LED saber combat training. So to me, it just looks pointless. But that's just my perspective of someone who's had proper lightsaber training. So it's not. To me, it's just a gimmick, really, a very gimmicky thing as part of the experience. But I'm sure people will love it. And then there's these interactive moments where you'll interact with characters, or you'll do certain things, or you have to choose whether you help a smuggler, or you help someone from the Resistance, or you go with the Sith and the First Order, and you do this and you do that, and you do all these kind of missions. I think great if you're a kid. If you're older, people might want to do it, might not want to do it. The difficulty is, I think, in delivering something that's actually good. I just got this feeling that it's going to be incredibly cheesy. I don't know. We will see. There'll be plenty of vloggers that go and stick it all over the YouTube, and we can have a look and see what it's actually like. But I hate the idea of doing those kinds of things. What I do like about it is the fact that you are able to. Wow, that sounds bright. You're able to do more sort of like cosplay style stuff. So you're allowed to dress up. They encourage you to dress up. I think in certain activities and events that happen during your stay, they want you to. And obviously they give you an opportunity to buy the stuff there if you really, really want to. Jedi robes, or whatever it might be. And obviously you can bring your own stuff, but then obviously they'll push the merchandise on you as well if you don't have your own stuff. So that's what it is in a nutshell, and the whole idea is that you're thrown into this immersive experience. But the price tag for this is just ridiculous. I mean, for 4 people to do this, bearing in mind that you literally cannot decide to stay longer or shorter. It is always a 2-night experience. A party of 4, $1 short of $6,000. $6,000 to stay in a hotel for 2 nights, to get a day and a half's worth of activities. People will pay it, there's no doubt about that, because there are, obviously such diehard Star Wars fans out there that want to experience, and they're prepared to shell out that kind of money. But to me, $6,000, that is the equivalent of an actual 14-day or 14-night stay, possibly with flights, depending on what resort you stay in, at Disney World. A 2-week vacation, a 2-week holiday, to do every park and all the rides that are there, and experience everything, and to shell out the exact same money again just for 2 nights in a hotel. Star Wars or not, that's just crazy money. That is crazy. And there's a YouTube channel called Ordinary Adventures, and I encourage you to have a look at it, because they do a video where I think they're a husband and wife that do this, and he is like going through the itinerary and all these things that you can do, and what the experience is going to be like. She's getting like super excited, and she really wants to do it, and she loves the idea of the whole thing, and she's like, yeah, we'll do that. Then he gets to the end and he tells her how much it's going to cost, and the way her face drops is just unbelievable. The pure shock that hits you when you see this price tag. Now, that $6,000 price tag is actually for 4 people, and that's cheaper per person than if you were to go with a group of 2 or a group of 3, where per person the price actually goes up. So, it's got this $6,000 like price tag that gets put all over it, and yes, arguably, it can be a little bit cheaper with less people, but actually per person it becomes more expensive with less people. So it's just stupidly expensive. I mean, I'm never going to get to experience that, and there are loads of people, Disney fans, parks fans, and Star Wars fans alike, that are never going to get to experience that. They will not even be allowed in the door to have a look around, and that's what sucks. Because similarly with the whole FastPass thing, like we talked about yesterday, they are pricing these things in such a way that they're obviously targeting an elite group of people to actually take up these experiences and this product and these services that everybody else never gets to see, never gets to touch. And I just think Disney should be for everybody, and there should be a way to do this and experience this, even if it's just a part of it, which is a more like budgeted experience. I think Star Wars Theory said something similar, and he said, why not do like, you could do $500 a night for one night, and maybe get like a day's worth of experience. So it's reduced. Maybe you don't get as many experiences. You obviously don't get to stay there as long. It's still expensive as anything, but at least there's an option there. At least there's some glimmer of hope for people that they could potentially, save up some money and actually go and get to do this. But $6,000, I mean, that's just stupid. And the difficulty with this, I think there's 100 rooms in that hotel. So let's assume it sells out or whatever. That's going to require a huge amount of service level, like an insane amount of service level and attention to detail, that has to be second to none. I mean, it has to be perfect. If you go there and you have a horrible experience and you've paid $6,000 for that, or you're there with a couple of kids and the kids decide that that's the day when they're going to act up and just scream for a day, that's $6,000 you've thrown away and wasted. That's going to have to be the best experience that Disney has ever offered to a guest in the history of Disney, and I'm sorry, but I can't see it happening. I just cannot see them delivering on that. I mean, we'll see. I think the reservations start like springtime next year, possibly. So that's when we'll probably start to get an idea as to, does it actually work? Does it actually deliver? I don't predict that it's going to be anything short of an unbelievable mess. These things often are when they're new. I mean, when Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run were opened up to the public for the first time, obviously they're rides, they go down a lot. You still have to kind of work out what guests are going to do and what their feedback is going to be like, and what's going to work and what's not going to work. Imagine you pay that $6,000 and your room is the one room where the screen window doesn't work. So you've got no windows and you don't even have a fake window. Your experience, if it gets that kind of dent in it for that sort of money that you're shelling out, that's going to be painful. That's going to be really, really painful. And let's be honest, we know what Disney are like when it comes to things like maintenance and keeping things up and running. Not always that great, realistically. Sometimes it depends on the park, perhaps. But they are going to have to seriously deliver big time to justify that sort of cost. I mean that's crazy. I mean, I would want for that sort of money a huge amount of merch just given to you. Seriously, because I just can't get over that price tag. But it's like, oh well, you can go and you can cosplay and you can dress up and you can buy the stuff if you want. No. You should be giving me these Jedi robes to wear if you really want me to, because that is an extortionate amount of money, and you can pay a hell of a lot less to go and stay in places like Castle Club at Disneyland Paris and get significantly more for your money. You do get food included, but even with the food, I think it's quite funny because when you go into Galaxy's Edge for those few hours that you're allowed to, the food that's included in the price that you've paid is Docking Bay 7. It's like a quick service deal. It's not Ogre's Cantina. There's nothing on the itinerary for Build a Droid. There's nothing on the itinerary for Build a Lightsaber. Your best dining experiences aren't included in this. Drinks aren't included in it at all, I think, or at least not alcoholic ones anyway. So there's a lot of things that make me very nervous, because I just worry that it's never going to justify that kind of price. We shall see. As I say, I'm pretty sure it's springtime next year that it opens up and we start seeing what it actually looks like. At the moment, we've just got concept artwork, and yeah, it looks great. But I mean, Galaxy's Edge looks a hell of a lot better in the concept artwork than it actually does in real life, because they started doing things on a budget. So, and let's be honest, if Bob Chapek is in charge, then the entire hotel will be on a budget as well, as much as he can get away with. So there we go. I mean, for me, it was a shocking amount of money, yeah, just crazy. So, what do you guys think? Is it too expensive? Would you go? Would you actually be able to justify to yourself and your bank manager that you can shell out that kind of money for 2 nights? Yeah, what do you think? Let me know. Hit me in the comments down below. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. It is Wednesday today, which means that it is a new episode of What If tonight, the new Marvel show. So tomorrow's video will probably be my reaction to that. So with that said, I'll see you guys real soon.